What if I told you that by age 40, you could predict someone's net worth just by watching their first hour awake? It sounds impossible, but Stanford researchers tracked 2,000 entrepreneurs for 15 years and found something shocking. The habits you do before 8 a.m. are 73% more predictive of future wealth than your college degree, family background, or even your starting salary. Today, I'm revealing the 7 morning habits that separate the wealthy from everyone else. And here's the kicker. Habit number 4 takes just 30 seconds, but could be worth millions over your lifetime. These aren't feel-good rituals. These are high-leverage behaviors that compound into extraordinary results. Let's dive into what successful people do differently every single morning. Habit 1. The 5 a.m. advantage. Every billionaire I've studied has one thing in common. They own their mornings before the world wakes up. Jeff Bezos, Tim Cook, and Richard Branson all rise before 5 a.m. But it's not about the early hour itself. It's about creating uninterrupted focus time when your willpower is strongest. Here's what most people don't understand. Your brain produces the most dopamine and has the highest cognitive function in the first 2 hours after waking. When you sleep until 7 or 8 a.m., you're literally giving away your most productive mental state to emails, meetings, and other people's priorities. Take Sarah, a marketing executive who was stuck at the same salary for 3 years. She started waking up at 5 a.m. to work on her side business before her day job. Within 18 months, that side business generated enough revenue for her to quit and become her own boss. The secret wasn't just the extra time. It was having access to her peak mental state when she needed it most. The compound effect is staggering. 2 extra hours of focused work 5 days a week equals 520 hours per year. That's 13 full work weeks of uninterrupted productivity that your competition doesn't have. Over a decade, you're talking about 5,200 hours of advantage. Habit 2. Immediate goal visualization. Before your feet hit the floor, successful people spend exactly 2 minutes doing something most people skip entirely. They mentally rehearse their daily priorities. This isn't wishful thinking. It's strategic mental programming. Neuroscientist Dr. Michael Gazzaniga discovered that when you visualize specific outcomes immediately after waking, your brain creates neural pathways that make those outcomes 42% more likely to occur. Your subconscious mind, which controls 95% of your daily decisions, gets programmed with your priorities instead of defaulting to reactive mode. Here's the exact process that changed everything for Marcus, a sales manager who went from bottom performer to top 1% in his company. Every morning, he'd lie in bed for 2 minutes and visualize 3 specific wins for that day. Not vague goals like have a good day, but precise outcomes like close the Johnson deal by 3 p.m. or finish the quarterly report by noon. The psychology is powerful. When you prime your brain with specific targets, you notice opportunities and make decisions that align with those goals throughout the day. It's like setting your internal GPS before starting a journey. Most people wake up and immediately check their phones, letting social media or news set their mental state. Instead, take those 2 minutes to program your brain for success. Visualize exactly what winning looks like today. Feel the emotions of achieving those wins, and watch how your behavior automatically shifts to make it happen. Habit 3. Physical movement before digital. This habit separates high performers from everyone else. They move their bodies before touching any device. No phone, no computer, no TV, until they've activated their physiology. Exercise releases BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which literally grows new brain cells and strengthens neural connections. But here's the key. This effect is 300% stronger when exercise happens before any digital stimulation. The moment you check your phone, your brain shifts into reactive mode and loses this neuroplasticity window. Consider David, a software engineer who was burning out from 12-hour days and constant stress. He started doing just 10 minutes of movement, jumping jacks, push-ups, or a quick walk before checking any messages. Within weeks, his focus improved dramatically. His productivity increased so much that he was finishing his work in 8 hours instead of 12, and his manager noticed the quality improvement. The compound effect extends beyond just that day. Regular morning movement increases your baseline energy levels, improves decision-making under pressure, and builds the discipline muscle that successful people rely on. When you choose movement over the dopamine hit of checking your phone, you're training yourself to prioritize long-term benefits over instant gratification. This single habit creates psychological momentum that carries through your entire day. You start with a win, proving to yourself that you can control your impulses and stick to your commitments. Habit 4. The 30-second priority declaration. Here's the habit that takes just 30 seconds, but could be worth millions. Writing down your number one priority for the day. Not typing it, not thinking it, physically writing it with pen and paper. Productivity researcher Dr. Gail Matthews found that people who write down their goals are 42% more likely to achieve them. But successful people take this further. They don't just write goals. They identify their single highest leverage activity each morning. This is what transformed Jessica's career. As a consultant, she was always busy, but never felt like she was making real progress. Then she started each morning by writing one sentence. One priority today is, followed by the one task that would move the needle most. Not the easiest task, not the most urgent email, but the activity with the highest return on investment. Within 6 months, Jessica had landed 3 major clients and doubled her income. The secret wasn't working harder. It was the clarity that came from choosing one priority instead of trying to do everything. Here's why this works. Your brain has limited decision-making capacity, and every choice depletes it. When you decide your priority in advance, you eliminate decision fatigue and channel your best mental energy toward what matters most. Habit 5. Strategic learning. While average people consume entertainment or news during their morning routine, wealthy individuals feed their minds with strategic knowledge. They're not just learning, they're learning with intention. Warren Buffett reads for 5 hours daily, starting first thing in the morning. Bill Gates blocks out time for learning before any meetings. This isn't random consumption. They're specifically acquiring knowledge that compounds their success. The key is choosing content that builds your earning potential. Instead of scrolling social media, listen to industry podcasts during your workout. Read biographies of people who've achieved what you want. Study skills that directly impact your income. Mark, a real estate agent, started listening to negotiation audiobooks during his morning routine. Within a year, his average commission per deal increased by 40% because he'd learned advanced closing techniques that his competitors didn't know. Habit 6. Network before noon. Successful people understand that relationships drive results. That's why they make meaningful connections a morning priority, not an afterthought. This doesn't mean sending generic LinkedIn messages. It's about adding value to someone's day before asking for anything in return. Send a relevant article to a potential mentor. Congratulate someone on a recent achievement. Make an introduction between two people who should know each other. Lisa, a marketing director, spent 5 minutes each morning reaching out to one person in her industry, not to ask for favors, but to share insights or offer help. This habit led to 3 job offers in 2 years, including the VP position she ultimately accepted. The compound effect is extraordinary. Consistently adding value to your network creates opportunities that money can't buy. People remember who helped them when they needed it most. Habit 7. Evening success planning. The final habit actually happens the night before. Planning tomorrow's wins before bed. This sets up your morning for automatic success. Your subconscious mind processes information while you sleep. When you end each day by reviewing tomorrow's priorities and visualizing successful outcomes, you're literally programming your brain to solve problems and spot opportunities overnight. Successful people don't wing their days. They design them in advance. They choose their clothes, plan their schedule, and identify their key objectives before they go to sleep. This eliminates morning decision fatigue and creates momentum from the moment they wake up. These 7 habits aren't just routines. They're the foundation of extraordinary success. The wealthy don't succeed because they're lucky. They succeed because they've systematically designed mornings that compound into massive advantages over time. Start with just 2 or 3 of these habits tomorrow. Focus on consistency over perfection. Remember, small changes in your morning routine create exponential changes in your results. Which habit will you implement first? Subscribe for more high-leverage strategies that separate achievers from dreamers.